Going to be watching day 3 of the International 2019 now. Today's going to be a bit more of a relaxed stream. I realised one of the reasons why they didn't carry on doing the beginner stream officially is because if you just kind of throw it at one person, then it becomes a really tiring task, especially solo casting. And now at like 40 hours streamed in 3 days. So, I'm still going to be doing it. I'm still going to be commentating on these games, but it's going to be a bit more of a relaxed pace. The first game we've got today is going to be, I believe it's Infamous? Oh no, it's Keen Gaming, Royal Never Give Up's game. Now the hype result right now would be Royal Never Give Up and Infamous winning the next two. There'll be match 1 and match 2 that we get today. We also have the All-Star match later today. So after the 3 normal matches, the All-Star match should be a really fun watch. So that'll be really good to watch. Let's have a look. Exactly what we've got coming up. So it's going to be Royal Never Give Up versus Team Liquid, and then Infamous versus Team Secret. Oh, Infamous versus Team Secret, I think, is one of the most exciting games, in my opinion, that we'll have. The OG versus EG game was really exciting, but it just kind of ended up coming down to, well, it really was who got the Enchantress, right? OG have too many kind of required bans against them. Game 1 going to Evil Geniuses, it really was like a strong outdraft, but with their first pick, they ended up doing pretty well. I find it really interesting that in Game 1, OG decided to play into the Enchantress rather than play into the Elder Titan, because OG with the last ban decided to ban at the Elder Titan, and they do not have as many kind of bans tied up dealing with the EG lineup compared to EG having to deal with like Magnus and IO from them, and Alk apparently they were really scared of the Alk. So same 3 bans every single game from EG, and they've got to be feeling pretty stumped right now. If it ends up carrying on with EG going through the lower bracket across to OG, and they end up with exactly the same tactic, I'm not sure if they'll be able to win. They need some way of kind of changing it up, some way of making it more favorable in to their side. But yeah, it should be a really interesting day of Dota in my opinion. We're still waiting on the lobby to be made. Just to give a quick kind of summary of some of the games that we saw between Virtus.pro and Royal Never Give Up, and the TNC Predator vs Team Liquid games. Let me bring those up. So I did write some really nice game summaries, so I'll just find those. Yeah, so the games in Team Liquid versus TNC Predator. The first one, Team Liquid was up against the Wraith King. They decided that instead of the tactic that most teams go for, where they kind of kite the Wraith King and use Elder Titan and use potentially Shadow Demon to keep the Wraith King at bay while dealing with the rest of the team, They drafted a really, really fast-paced lineup in fights of the TA and Troll Warlord, and they just kind of ran at them, right? They did win the farm game on TA. She actually lost lane. But yeah, with the farm that she managed to get from the jungle, she caught back up very quickly. Troll Warlord got a Diffusal Blade against the Wraith King. And they looked really kind of dominating in that the big core of TNC Predator just felt useless all game. So that was Team Liquid versus TNC Predator game 2. They picked the Anti-Mage, and unlike EG, they made it work. They kind of split the map up massively. This was very similar to sort of how Infamous play, where they never actually allow a really big team fight to go the way of the other team. If they do get anyone, it'll be like one person. They'll have to commit a lot for it. They never caught the anti-mage, even with how greedy he played sometimes. So sometimes he was like running away from a team fight and would just take a fight from in front of him. So yeah, really greedy plays from the anti-mage, but manages to get away unpunished. One situation that happened in that game, the 5 members of TNC Predator decided to push down middle as hard as they could. And in the meantime, Leshrac on one lane and Anti-Mage on the other lane pushed down their tier 3s on the other 2 lanes. Really, really well played in order to make that win work. Then we've got the Games with Royal Nova versus Virtus Pro. Game 1, Alk was top net worth. Yeah, so VP just never countered the Alchemist. We may actually see an Alchemist ban now against World Never Give Up because of how strong it looked against VP. And game 2, exact opposite to the Liquid versus TNC game. So the Wraith King was picked up. Wraith King, we've seen so much of him this series, this game. Oh well, this match. During the main event, he's come up all the time. He has some really strong effects, but they just, like, this time they just kite him. They pick the Elder Titan and the Disruptor, and they just disable him in fights and run away. Really effective method in order to deal with him. Really effective method to deal with him. Ooh. I'm just going to check the main stream to see how long it'll be. Oh, they're doing the doing some of the interviews. So the ones that managed to take down Virtus Pro, though, so Royal Never Give Up, but not a weak team. They came in from the bottom of their group as well, but they managed to crush VP 2-0 and Alliance. So it's very, very well played on their side. What was the group stage result? We'll never give up. Never played against Liquid. They were in different groups. Liquid was in Group A, and we'll never give up in Group B. Both of them were fairly low down in their groups. Liquid came 7th in theirs, and Will Never Give Up came 8th in theirs. Both of them have just made a really successful run through the lower brackets so far. Yeah. So in lower bracket round 2, both of them kind of knock out the upper bracket team that drops down to advance further. On the other side, Infamous managed to do that against Newbie, so that's a really good sign of the strength of Infamous. But Team Secret do manage to beat Mineski. Mineski was probably the weakest team from the stats at the group stage that came through to the managed to get through to the main event. And they're not quite. Okay, yeah, Na'Vi were a weaker side. Yeah, all of these like low group stage teams are really showing up in the main event. And then VP that have been made upper bracket and then fall like a stone out of the tournament. Newbie sort of deserved it. They played way too, I want to say, kind of confident, but like too many games where they gave the opponent every advantage. So really kind of sealing their own fate there. Playing into teams that are like, oh, we do really, really well with IO. And Newbie gave them IO, and IO won the game. And then the next match, OG had been doing really well with Magnus, and they gave them the Magnus, and Magnus won the game. They dropped down against Infamous, and it was the Wraith King. 2 games. Hector makes Wraith King look like a different hero. He consistently, every time he buys his Midas, it takes 6 minutes for him to get to Radiance. Now, that's 5,150 gold in 6 minutes. That's 850 GPM. And so, minute like 11 through to minute 17, he'll be at 850 GPM. That's one game where after that, like, it took him 2 minutes to spend another 2,500 gold. So kind of 1,250 GPM for the next 2 minutes, like farming super fast for the next little bit. But yeah, today's going to be more of a relaxed cast. Not going to be going over like everything as it comes up, as it is quite tiring in order to do that. But yep, we'll still be casting over the top of these games. Should be a fun time. Obviously, we'll still end up covering it at some point. Like, you know, it'll be the kind of thing where particularly notable skills, it's worth mentioning what they do just to explain how they manage to like turn a fight off the back of it and things like that. I'm also going to have to be like eating a ton of soothers and hoping for the best, because it does not end up being a nice thing for your throat talking for this long. Couple of years already though. So good morning. It is 3 AM here. It's nice to see you. Oh, squeaky chair. Sorry if you can hear that.
He will just run over a game, and I think that's what they really wanted out of a player like him. He's a mid player, but I still don't look at him as like those.
Okay, we've got a game. Morning. Yeah, I'm going to be doing more of a casual stream today. My throat is getting sore and I'm getting pretty tired. 12-hour days because so many of these series hit game 3. Let me know if there's any problems with the graphics today. I can see if I can solve that if that ever comes up. Okay, let's try ban against Royal Never Give Up. They make Alchemist look really good, so I think we might see the Alchemist ban in first 3, unless Team Liquid really want to try their luck and try and take it on. Oh my god, you're on too? Goodness, why is... Let's try seeing if I like... I can reduce the encoding quality, but that's going to be like... kind of peculiar if I have to do that. As it was fine the first couple of days. There's the Alchemist ban, I did see that one coming. I'm just going to reduce the bitrate of the stream a little bit, but well, yeah, I am. Goodness. Oh, Ogre Magi and Shadow Demon. So the two kind of supports that we've seen a ton in this tournament are being taken out. We've still got Enchantress left in the pool. Nope, there it is. So there's the Enchantress gone from the pool. I was thinking that would be a ban. Let me know if it comes up again. I have just reduced my bitrate a little bit, but that seems like... Yeah, I'm not really sure what more I could do. Again, my hardware is not the part that's overloading, and compared to the previous days, I haven't changed anything, so I'm not sure what's causing all of these issues.
5 seconds. It's radiant.
Ooh, Elder Titan? Seen a ton of him. Also, does play nicely into some of the picks from Royal Never Give Up. Again, they like the Wraith King, they like the Alchemist. Well, Alchemist is gone. I wonder what the pick will be. Magnus, maybe, from Royal Never Give Up? Do they play it? I think they play it. So Magnus might be the pick. That would give them the cleave to help farm.
It's radiant.
Oh, wow, Abaddon first. That is... Are they the only team at the tournament that does this? No one's been banning out Abaddon, even, like,
As Dire starts.
stage 2 of the draft. And a super early Ember Spirit, wow. Ember Spirit has often been banned out stage 2. So, I can totally see the reason for the Ember Spirit being picked up this early, but it does give so much room in order to try and counter him, which is what I'm afraid of.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
Tiny brings a good amount of magic damage burst, enough to get through the shield of Ember Spirit. A little bit of more reliable catch compared to the Elder Titan. So with the Elder Titan, the Stomp is just so weak against Ember Spirit. He's always going to be able to avoid that. So they probably were looking to get some more, like, reliable disables in to help themselves out. I see what you mean with the stream. There's like these kind of lines of graphical glitches. Not sure what's causing that. It kind of looks funny when it's kind of being compressed almost.
What's Radiant's battle plan anyway?
Okay. Shadow Shaman burnout from Team Liquid. That would give them some like cover for the Ember Spirit in these fights by disable the disablers, and then the Horror Evasive Heroes can run around a lot. But Abaddon in these team fights should be really good at keeping Ember Spirit alive, so I really like the synergy that they've got in their first two picks. It's just we're not used to seeing those two come out so early. Void Band, yeah, we've seen him not so much in the early stages of the main event. I don't think we saw him much day one. But yeah, since then, he's been picked up quite consistently. The ulti against Ember is very damaging, so... Wraith King is still in the pool, so Team Liquid still feel like they're happy with the still happy with the Royal Never Give Up going Wraith King carry. And that's really peculiar. Very interesting choice.
5 seconds.
Have to need to try and ban a lot of carries on the side of Royal Never Give Up. The Slark comes out. Slark's Pounce now disables Ember Spirit's like everything. You can't do much while you're leashed, so that's a defensive pick for the Ember as well. Mirana comes out, but they don't have any setup for it, so I'm not sure how much impact they'll be able to have compared to some of the other Miranas we've seen this tournament.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
But yeah, Mirana's benefits to a team are kind of difficult to see. The Invis on every hero forces so much detection out from the enemy team. So many sentries placed. Ooh, the IO from Team Liquid. Are they going to play this core? Are they going to try and copy OG? That would be hype. If they do, there's not a great response available. The damage, the sustained damage would be really strong against the Abaddon because you just, you know, keep it going past his ultimate. Mirana isn't able to stand up for that in the middle of fights, so would have to like use leaps to escape. Centaur is strong against Io at lane though. So that means that this Abaddon is a support. I was actually hoping for the Abaddon core. We've seen a lot of teams do really well with it, including RNG. RNG played like an off-lane Abaddon. He got really farmed and was super pesky when they were playing one of the games against VP. But it feels like they're forced to go into something else this game. These next picks are going to decide whether it's an IO support or an IO core. So I feel like Team Liquid are going to try and draft in a way that doesn't make it obvious. If they pick their offlaner here and then leave the last pick can then either be a carry or the other support. And that'll be really good for them. Wow. So it is not an IO core. The IO will be supporting the gyrocopter. Disappointing. But it is a really good synergy. Gyrocopter gives a lot of area damage. That seems to be the name of the game from Team Liquid. The only thing I'm worried about is that their only like nice, easy to land stun right now is Tiny. And without strong lockdown, the center ulti is going to be a perfect disengage every time they need it.
10 seconds.
And it's an Ember Spirit. If you have an Ember Spirit up against you and you don't draft any strong lockdown, he's always going to be able to get away. I don't like this draft from Liquid. They've got plenty of damage. It seems like... Okay, Night Stalker Silence is really good against Ember, so that's a good counter. And Night Stalker's Silence, because it's now an area around him, it can't be dealt with by Abaddon. So if Ember Spirit ends up getting caught out by Night Stalker, he needs a BKB in order to escape.
10 seconds.
So the timing will hopefully hit sooner than that.
5 seconds.
Night Stalker IO is good in lane. IO Gyrocopter is good in lane. So the IO can kind of go to either lane and still be a good support. That's nice. Not sure what the best pick is. They needed a carry, right? Yeah. Another evasive carry, but one that's a bit tankier to start would be really strong, but they've already banned out the... Morphling's gone and Slarker's gone. Morphling would be a really bad pick into the Night Stalker, so I don't know why they ended up banning it.
Choose your hero.
Yeah, Lifesteal is nice and tanky, deals with so much of the damage that Team Liquid bring to the table. And as we said, there's just a little disable from Team Liquid. I've got the tiny stun, and everything else is unreliable. A bit of a slow from mind control, and if he gets on top of you, it does have a fairly reliable silence, but I feel like the control is too weak. I think that's what they're going to struggle with. Yeah, I really don't know. It's one of those things where you're like, what were they thinking, right? Checking to see if there's anything your draft lacks is really important. Io and Gyrocopter are a really strong combination, but yeah, they don't provide any strong disables between the two of them, and they didn't have many strong disables in the first two picks. Elder Titans is not reliable. Tiny has one, but with just Avalanche on the entire draft, I don't think I'll be able to do very well here.
Never said.
That one's difficult to gauge. I'll go with that one.
Let's just skip 30 seconds and get started.
So, 2 for 2 trade for Rune. There's nothing too exciting there. They're not going to run into each other. Well, maybe they want to try it.
But you'll have to wait and see.
With the Mirana Arrow threat, they have to back off. Elder Titan does get a bit of damage, but he just doesn't find anyone to use it on. Lane swap shenanigans. They want to get the IO and the Lane Stalker there. Then looks like lane swaps are happening on the other side, so then they're waiting around for this to happen. That's really funny. The chat lines across. Oh yeah, these two can jungle. These two are trying to jungle, but they can't do it as well. Oh my god, this is a funny start. Abaddon crushes the Elder Titan in this one-on-one, and Mirana crushes this Io on the one-on-one, so the longer this goes on for, the nicer it is for Royal Never Give Up. Ooh. Oh, arrow misses. That could have been First Blood. Jargopter finally arrives at bot lane. They know it's happening, so now they can send the Lifestealer to the top, and Centaur will make his slow way bottom, but they don't really mind. Because again, Mirano has gotten level 3. And now Lifestealer finally turns up. And he's going to do great against the Night Stalker. Well played. That was a really peculiar start. The net worth is going to look really funny. Gyrocopter, Lifestealer. Okay, they are actually higher up than I was expecting. But like these supports have got quite a lot too. More than you would expect. Such a strange start to a game. But, Royal Never Give Up got the matchups that they wanted. So the reason why they were like just standing around here and standing around here on their cores for quite so long. Oh, wow. That was so close. That was so close. I think of the arrow bot lane. Was that an arrow landing? Gyro is going to go down too by the look of it. No, just a lot of harass on him. So these matchups are what they're after. The IO synergizes well with like 3 different cores on Liquid, which is a really nice pickup. But yeah, IO Gyro is the one that they end up on. They were expecting IO Night Stalker on this lane, fighting into the Centaur and the Mirana. And then they can have the IO Gyro up against this Lifestealer, but that doesn't end up happening. Abaddon is going to bully these guys and then trade away his life. They can't stop him from suiciding, so yeah, really strong. How's the graphical issues now? Any more problems? And there's the deny. Just killing himself off so that the enemy doesn't get any money off it. Really nice. Elder Titan going down at the top. No health lost on the other side. So he was taken down by the Abaddon. I guess he was just getting pretty low to the creeps. And Abaddon comes in with the burst. Now after their kind of early lead in this lane, they're having to leave the Lifestealer to farm up whatever he likes. He's gonna top the net worth soon. Mid lane, Tiny was doing well in last hits and denies. But with that solo kill from Ember Spirit is going to do really well here too. Oh, a lot of the avalanche is avoided by the Ember Spirit just there. The Abaddon shield comes out and the heal comes out onto the Ember Spirit in order to heal him up a bit. But he is fair cooldown away from getting the Sleight of Fist. Oh, the Spirit's going to be up. Is he going to be able to land the Stomp? He will. They get the kill on the Ember Spirit. And Abaddon is getting chased down as well. Abaddon has boots. He's pretty quick. But he will be run down. This is a lot of time on the Tiny though. Doing this much to try and deal with him. They do the stud well in order to get the kill at least so he doesn't deny himself. And they've got the shrine to go to. But the lane mid was empty throughout this time, so... Oh, what's happening here? Oh, they're just shrining. Cool. They've been saving their region so that they can shrine. Tony comes across, but he's just going to spot them. They're going to be able to get away from him. They don't care much. Ooh, with the IO as well, maybe he can do a dive, but... Maybe trying to toss across, but... They just kite the Tiny. This Tiny rotation is useless. Oh my goodness, that was beautiful tree dodge. Our Centaur is finally going to get caught out. He's going to be tossed back, and that's going to be a Centaur death. He's not dead yet, though. That's a lot of time committed. Oh, and Tiny hasn't even left yet. What are they doing in mid lane? Killing Elder Titan with the Shadow Feet, Ember Spirit.
Discover what lies beyond.
So Lifestealer is doing fine solo top. Mid lane, they send in the Abaddon and Ember Spirit gets a really good lane. Tiny has become a roving hero after being the mid hero before. She has leap charges. She's going to be able to get away. There it is. Oh, haste rune might catch her. Oh, that was a lucky rune. Where's he heading? He's heading to mid. Okay, the rotation there, and all of the heroes committed. They do end up taking down the Ember Spirit that time. He was low after the previous engagement, but didn't head back to base. It was just kind of relying on his regen to keep him alive. That wasn't quite enough.
Do Radiant want their middle tower to fall? Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So much room going to Roll Never Give Up right now, though. Elder Titan dies. Okay. Giving it to Ember Spirit is really nice, though. It's up to net worth. There's been a few kills. Yeah, Gyrocopter is top, but the IO support all the time. He will farm really quickly, but at the same time, the next two are Ember Spirit and Lifestealer, and both of them are pretty good heroes against the Gyrocopter. They try for the arrow. They do end up missing it. That was a bit of a shame. Feels like there's almost like nothing they can do to counter this Lifestealer top, though, and that's a scary predicament to be in. He is now going for Midas, yeah, and is getting pretty close. Yeah, he's not going to go for the wand, but he did go for the like phase stick and Orb of Venom beforehand. Ooh, the Marauder ult goes off. They don't have any detection. He's even able to grab the bounty rune and run away. And now they try and make a turn onto Elder Titan, and it looks like Elder Titan will go down before any response can arrive. They do use the IO ulti in order to deal with this, but we talked about the evasiveness of the Ember Spirit. He just disengages. That was a 4 versus 2 engagement all in, and it went 1-0 to Royal Never Give Up, and then they escape. It feels like they went too hard on the synergy. Ooh. I'm Spirit wasn't down. I'm just going to repeatedly change the title. That's going to be pretty funny. Let's do that. Why not? Yeah.
Jax thinks Radiant's bottom tower is about to fall. And here's a fortification from Radiant.
They are heading across to defend this tier 1 tower. They're happy to trade it.
Dire's top tower is about to fall.
Midas now up on Lifestealer? Yep, Midas is now up on Lifestealer. Oh, he's going for the Armlet build too, so he's not even going for the Radiance build, which would actually play into the strengths of like Io, Gyro, and Night Stalker, as well as Tiny. All of those heroes are really nice against the slow burn of Radiance. The better option is just to go for quick and chunky damage with Armlet Deso. Silence comes out, but they have so much damage. They've barely taken any themselves, too. Lifestealer is trunking this Night Stalker. They're desperate to try and keep him alive, but look at the commitment. They know that Io is returning in 1 second, and then they can go. Yep, now the movement in. They know that Io is gone, so that's so much of the sustain potential. Oh, that's Clap is going to get Abaddon. He's got a shield. He denies himself. They spend everything on the side of Liquid, and they get a deny from Abaddon. Mechanism being purchased on the IO. So he's just going the normal support build on this IO. I would kind of like to see someone trying to adjust support IO to have a Aghanim Scepter on it. So not quite copying the core IO that we see on OG, but at least doing something akin to it.
Invisibility.
So all the Titans standing around at the back to try and defend this tower. It looks like they want to hit it a few times. As they rotate center into the tower, there's nothing that they can do to defend it. The tower will go down almost regardless unless they rotate everybody. Are deciding to rotate everybody, but even now I don't think it'll end up being worth it because they can disengage so nicely. And they're gone. All of these fights just lead to them being kited. They didn't pick enough disable. That's literally what it comes down to. I think Royal Never Give Up did end up banning a couple of the heroes that Liquid really like to provide some disable, but Liquid banned against Royal Never Give Up some of the same and then didn't have them available to pick. Like the Shadow Shape. Elder Titan, they have no vision in this area. Elder Titan walks into them. At least gives the information to Night Stalker as to who's nearby. I wouldn't call that worth it, but and like, these problems aren't going to go away in the middle late game. That's the biggest problem I have with the Liquid draft. Like, what can they get that would solve this problem? Tiny's going Blink Dagger. He's not going to be getting more disable. He's just going to be able to get his disable off a little more reliably. Elder Titan is never going to get any items, so that's not a problem. The other support can't go disable items because it's the IO going for health regen items. Rage comes out from lifesteal. He dodges all of the damage from the gyrocopter. The charge comes out if they want to disengage. They decide to try and disengage. No, Ember Spirit's still in the middle of the fight. He wants to go. He manages to catch the Night Stalker with the chains. A really nice slide of fist bouncing through everyone. It's doing a lot of damage. The silence comes back, though, from the Abaddon. So maybe they dive a bit too deeply going up to that high ground. Ember Spirit jumps away, though. Nothing they can do. Ooh. So that was an Abaddon death for nobody dying on the side of RNG. So that was... Oh, sorry, nobody dying on the side of victory. So that was a really nice play. Lifestealer's Rage in these fights is doing so much work. The Abaddon didn't have Burrow Time available, it was leading the charge. On fairly low health too. Sleep finally lands, that's big. He has another Fire Remnant charge if he wants to use it, but he isn't even having to. That's a summary of this game. A Ember Spirit with 3 Fire Remnant charges available, being chased down by 5 enemy heroes, and he doesn't spend any. Centaur is the focus. He does end up going down, but the health cost on the rest of Team Liquid is gigantic. They might just lose all of their heroes off the back end of this fight because they decided to commit so hard. Ember Spirit avoids the clap, but he is going to take a lot of damage from all of the all of the side of Team Liquid. I feel like Lifestealer didn't really join in on that fight, so... Bit of a split up play. The Ember Spirit jumps forward in order to try and punish some of the low health heroes on Team Liquid, but ends up going forward by himself. They need to stop going for this Night Stalker as well. I
feel like Royal never give up should just find the IO and kill the IO. The armor of IO is not that high, 6 at the moment. 1200 health ball and provides such huge supportive bonuses. The Night Stalker does have a short cooldown. No, it's not even that short anymore. Not a relatively short cooldown of Void, but Crippling Fear is now a bit longer. I'm not sure why they're prioritizing him so hard in these fights. That's like the second time they've gone after him. And he's a lot tankier. His armor is on what, 24? IO's armor is on 6. In fights the armor is higher because they've got the Ring of Bassi. I don't know how they're winning the fights this consistently. Ember Spirit's going to get taken down here as well. They can launch the rocket if they want. Oh, he does manage to zip away. Will he manage to zip away again? Yeah, he's going to be able to get away again. And now the attempt on Night Stalker's life comes out again, but again it doesn't work. He's too tanky. Bye-bye comes out from Ember Spirit in order to try and turn around this fight. They can't keep on going on this Night Stalker. Every single time they're trying to kill this Night Stalker. Oh, it's such a big mistake. Yeah, 42% damage resistance versus, like, when he has all of his armor, like 59% magic physical resistance even. A Night Stalker is the offlane. He's a reasonably valuable pickup, but like, if you're not even getting him, then he's not valuable. Right? It's like 3 heroes from Royal Never Give Up will all focus the Night Stalker, and the Night Stalker is itemized really well to survive against physical damage, and has a health pool to survive for a bit against magical damage. He's now going to be survivable against magic damage because he's got the cloak. Just building that into a hood.
Radiant's getting friendly with Dire's bottom tower.
There's nothing they can do. Ooh.
Look at Dire's bottom tower, Jack.
I mean, like, up against the Night Stalker, there's nothing they can do. I mean, they'll be able to take him out if they do have enough focus and everything, but the problem is, in the middle of a teamfight scenario, it's not just one hero you're trying to deal with. Ember Spirit's going to go up in damage significantly as soon as he gets this Maelstrom, though. Vision from Team Liquid is super good. Nice aggressive vision in really awkward spots to try and deward. They tried to deward on Royal Never Give Up, but haven't managed to find it. Ooh, movement across from Liquid towards where they are. They are smoked. They're going to cross the river right now. And it looks like Royal Never Give Up just kind of leave. They were hoping someone would enter their jungle. That was the reason for the smoke there. Maelstrom and Ag's now up for the Gyrocopter. His farm speed is really good because of that as well, and it does a ton of damage in these fights. I think this was Keen Games to lose, RNG's game to lose, and they've started slipping behind because of Really strange prioritization in fights. Generally, you'll see people going for the IO first in almost every scenario. But this time, that's just not the case. This is almost one of those too much armor memes. Oh boy, they try and land a gank onto the gyrocopter, but the IO is nearby in order to try and save him. And they get the sleep on the Abaddon during the ultimate, so that's not going to help him. Centaur gets controlled and taken down immediately. Now the Abaddon, without an ultimate, is going to be taken down quite quickly too. He does have the invisibility from Mirana, but it ran out. Oh no, they had a dust. Oh, tragic fights. They go on the gyrocopter, but the gyrocopter can be saved by the IO. So the gyrocopter is saved by the IO, and then they end up in a really bad situation. You can't play IO like this. This isn't really amazing play from the IO. This is just really bad prioritization from the Radiant. It seems like they've never committed to try and kill the IO. And if you're not killing the IO, how are you going to kill anyone else? A really long arrow lands on Tiny. Do they have the follow-ups done? The Centaur comes in. The IO is arriving soon. The Rage is there from the Lifestealer. But the combo comes forward, and this is going to be a huge amount of damage pumping into everyone. The Sleep lands on the Elder Titan, cutting off their escape. The Clap lands from the Elder Titan, doing even more damage. Abaddon's ultimate once again was used by the Sleep. And this game is all liquid now. The net worth lead is not that high. It's 1k up. But it feels like none of their answers are working. Ooh, yeah, Ember gets away. So the evasiveness on the lineup of, well, with the Ember Spirit is helping him survive in these fights that I mentioned. There's no nice, reliable disable. But this Elder Titan has been landing some incredible stomps at the back end of fight, just cutting off the escape route from the Royal Never Give Up side, so whichever way they decide to start running, he chucks down his Spirit and starts stomping. He's landed on like 1 or 2 each time. It just kind of guarantees that those ones die. The ones that aren't caught carry on running away and they want to leave, and the ones that are caught are left in the lurch against 5 heroes. The disengage from Royal Never Give Up isn't there even though they have the Centaur. Hey, it's another attempt of can we kill the gyrocopter while he's buffed by the IO? The answer is no. Here comes gyrocopter again. They have no reason to leave here either. They're just going to push down. Oh, they're heading back to base to get some more health and mana, I guess. Yeah, Io's literally just using his relocate to head back to base. Then when he returns, he'll have... he'll probably be a courier as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, he passes across some items to the Elder Titan. And with the creep wave coming in, they're going to walk up to the high ground. They're going to take out that tier 3. Ooh, silence thrown in.
So Ember Spirit ends up in the middle of the fight. He will be able to escape using his Fire Remnants, but the cost of that is going to be too great. Once again, they target the Night Stalker first. Why are they always going on the Night Stalker? He was thrown into the middle of all of their heroes, but now they go on the IO. They finally decided that's their problem. They take him out. That wasn't so hard now, was it? And now look at the retreat. All of a sudden they've got Team Liquid on the back foot. They finally focused the IO. Until then, they weren't focusing the IO. They were focusing the, like, Night Stalker. It was so weird. Okay, I'm gonna be typing out a big old analysis of what's happening in each of these games on Reddit as well.
Dire are scanning for enemies. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has some radiant ship problems. Radiant's bottom tower is falling. Radiant's bottom shrine is under attack. Jax thinks Radiant's bottom tower is about to fall. He's wrong.
Ooh, arrow whiffs, heads through the middle of them. Used the trees as cover, but just ended up being an unfortunate timing there. Iona has Glimmer Cape to try and keep himself alive. Do they have any detection? They have the dust on the Mirana. Okay, so they do have a little bit of detection in order to find the IO. The IO has now shown himself. He's used the tether across to the gyrocopter, but I don't think they will be defending the tier 2 here. And they don't. That's a good decision.
Radiant's top shrine is under attack. Radiant's
The
structures
rune
are
of regeneration.
Ooh. IO, they are focusing the IO as hard as they possibly can, but the IO is kiting them successfully using the... Oh, the BKBs do last long enough for them to take down the IO, but they lose 3 heroes off the back of it. This is going to be 4. The silence is down from the Night Stalker. Will he get another Fire Remnant out? No, he will not. And that's game.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Be ensnared in fire.
Ooh.
Radiant's top shrine is under attack. Radiant's top shrine has fallen.
This first pick Abaddon has looked really pathetic. I think that's the biggest thing I'm surprised at. There's so many heroes in the pool they could have gone for and they went for the Abaddon. Abaddon Ember was their first 2 picks. Ember's done alright. Ember was actually a really good pick here. Liquid didn't draft enough control to deal with him. But the rest of the team, from Royal Navy up, just kind of didn't really contribute enough. It wasn't because the heroes were necessarily wrong, they just kind of went on really awkward targets. Their choices were questionable.
go. So this push is pretty inevitable. I don't think there is anything they'll be able to do in order to stop this. They're too far behind now. The lead is only 7,000 gold, but it feels like so much more. The focus comes out onto the IO. Will they be able to bring him down? They finally do this time, but he can buy back and try and rejoin the fight using relocate. Here he is back in the fight, so they've got 10 seconds with the IO. That's long enough to kill the barracks and leave. The Aghanim Scepter is up from Ember Spirit, allowing him to get into the fight, but as soon as he arrives in that silence, it looks like he didn't have his Blacking Bar available, so he just ends up dying as well. They were looking for some kills on the back end of the fight while the IO is returned to base, but they couldn't manage it. Stun lands on the Tiny as well.
Do Radiant want their middle tower to fall? Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And yep, game to
Getting thrashed.
Game to Team Liquid. Yep, GG is called. They understand there's nothing they can do. The Ember Spirit and the Abaddon are also both dead. Oh. Oh. Need to wait for this to be done. Oh no, yeah, it's already here. Match details. Cool, there you go. Mind control. Tanked a lot of these ganks. Kept himself alive really well. Really great play for 115. And he was the focus in like 3 fights in a row. So very well played from him. He is played on a very tanky hero. But yeah, he played just, you know, just far enough forward to bait them in. Survived like all of those times, except for like the one fight that they did when they were pushing towards the barracks at top lane. But the fact that he managed to survive all of the focus from Royal Negative up is really commendable. They really should have just gone for the GHIO instead of mind control every fight, but they didn't. And it really came back to bite them when these fights started turning one after the other. They had a massive gold lead. The graph isn't showing up for some reason. Graph's not available yet. That's frustrating. Either way, massive gold lead, and they can't do anything with it. Because they're using it on the wrong heroes. They were using it to attack the Night Stalker or the Tiny. There were a couple of initiations on the Tiny as well. And every single time the rotation came in from the rest of Team Liquid, and they managed to save them in time because these two are super tanky. If you go on the IO, not only is he not tanky enough to survive you, but the rotation in from the rest of the team, no one else on the rest of the team can save people. Go on Mind Control, GH can save Mind Control. Well, with the mech. He can try and save himself with the mech. The tether was still being cast on the gyrocopter even when other heroes were being dived upon. So the IO was not using tether to heal up the allies, it was just the mech. Oh, and Glimmer Cape and everything. Gonna be a little break before game 2. I can't bring up the graph. I'll leave it on the scoreboard for now, that's pretty interesting. Boop. There you go. And yeah, as I said, I'll be right back.
Hello.
Turn to ban.
And I am back. Oh, we'll never give up. They now ban the IO. I'll clash. These were two bans from Team Liquid that they did last time. So, respect bans against the side of EG. Against the side of RNG. So, that's really good to see.
What's Radiant's ban plan anyway?
Then Shadow Demon. So, RNG have banned 3 supports this game. It seems like the supporting host team is the part that worries them about Team Liquid's strength. Team Liquid a game up. I don't know that the last game was an issue with the draft. In fact, if anything, I would say Team Liquid had an issue with the draft, trying to bank too much on the IO gyro. If that hadn't paid off as well as it did, they would have ended up losing because of the lack of control on the Ember Spirit. But the IO did not get focused, leading to a situation where the pick paid off really well. Enchantress managed to get through the bans this time. That was not the case last time, so it gets picked up. I think Team Liquid should respond with another gyro pick. Gyro's really strong against the Enchantress because of the magic damage. And that would give them a good way of dealing with her.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
I still have the Spirit back on there. I don't need that anymore. No, that one. That's what I'm after. Okay, and the Elder Titan was actually banned up by Team Liquid. So, the last ban, they're happier to, like, this is a similar thing that happened in the game between EG and OG, game 1. They're happier to grant the Enchantress and the Elder Titan. These teams are valuing the Elder Titan really highly. 2 pretty big team fight abilities coming up from Team Liquid already. So, Sand King and AA, obviously the great area damage between them.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
Seeing these two come out so early, though, really should tempt you to pick split pushes, right? If you can split the map this game and... yeah, splitting the map this game would be really big. A hero like Anti-Mage, if you manage to get away with the laning phase, AA especially is not a great hero into him. Can help if you have set up for a gank, if you have someone that can jump on top of Anti-Mage and lock him down. The AA blast can then come out from on top. Sand King isn't too bad at being that hero that kind of gets the initial stun, but the range of his stun is fairly limited. Even with a Blink Dagger, it can be countered by Lincolns.
Just who?
Ooh, Shadow Shaman. So Enchantress with the creep takeovers and Shadow Shaman with the wards is going to be some scary amounts to push.
It's Radiant's
That's going to be the Ogre, right? No, they can't take the Ogre. They've got the Enchantress offlane. That might still be the Ogre. Team Liquid again, kind of limited on disable. They only have the Sand King stun right now. It is a pretty long duration and short cooldown, so by mid and late game, they'll be okay for disable, I want to say. Just off the Sand King. But early game is going to be rough. Unless they pick more. Hopefully they don't end up in that problem in their draft. I'm not sure if they've been doing any shenanigans with whether the Sand King is an offlane or a support, or whether they've only been playing it in one role.
It's Diest. It's Radiant's.
Yeah, they ban the Ember Spirit, evasive hero against that lack of control. Okay, so much disable on the side of Royal Navy of Up. Wow. Tiny from Team Liquid again. Tiny, they've got such a good lineup up against this Enchantress. They've reacted really well to it, I think. I don't think there's going to be enough left in the tank for Royal Navies up here. They've got so much burst potential on Team Liquid. Tiny gives them that bit more disable. They were saying that just the Sand King alone isn't really enough. Yeah, the AA is probably a fairly easy kill for the Enchantress when she gets level 6, but... and still struggles to deal much damage to Enchantress. But the AA Blast is such a good counter to it, so... and yeah, the Sand King stun into Sandstorm with the ult on top, really strong. Bane can try and just get some disables out, but they can pick more people that can interrupt it. Rubik, he can interrupt the Bane ulti after stealing the Bane ulti. Also provides more lockdown for the Team Liquid side. Really good stuff.
What's Radiant's bad planning?
A world devourer.
Ooh, OD is a good hit pick here, though. The save from him is really strong, so that can keep people alive.
5 seconds.
Yeah, also if Rubik does end up stealing the Bane ulti, which I think they're quite worried about now, the Outworld Devourer with his Astral Imprison does have a way of helping out there. Also the Shadow Shaman, like Bane, if they're still around in the fight, can use disables to
It's dying.
stop the Rubik. I think the OD is good here. The ultimate will do a lot of damage to Tiny and Sand King, but I just don't know if it's enough.
It's Radiant's turn.
Broodmother ban into a Gyrocopter pick. That's really peculiar. Why would you be afraid of the Broodmother if you're picking Gyro? Even though all Devourer has like AoE pure damage. That's so strange.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
That's so strange.
You can choose now.
Now they get the Arc Warden with that new Collector's Cache item. Oh, it's beautiful. You get to see that come to light, which is that's going to be really good. Pro players really do have the flashiest heroes. Look at this Rubik. Beautiful Rubik. Yeah, I think this one is solidly in Team Liquid's favour. I think this will be a 2-0. The counter picks are there, but even while countering the opponent's team, they still have a really solid draft. They do have a decent amount of setup for the rocket, I suppose. Bane, Nightmare and things into the rocket could be pretty good. But, so the tri-lane from RNG with the Gyrocopter could be really strong, but overall I do feel like this is going to be a Liquid favoured game. Oh, I don't know viewers.
Or is it in my mind?
As I watch it myself, I want no viewers. Oh god, that's really tragic. How's that with my 25? Ooh. Ah, miracle. This is like a core tidy, right? Yeah, it is.
30 seconds. Now for some reset.
Cool. I'd set for the best there. Ooh. A lot of damage coming out onto the Bane already. He's not going to die to that, but that's going to feel bad. Rubik appearing right by mid lane. Ooh. More harass happening onto this Bane. Bane thinks that he can turn it with the lifesteal low. I think the AA could have carried on trading hits there. The brain sap wasn't enough to turn that, and with the additional chilling touch, might have been able to get the kill if Bane overcommitted with faith in his. Another brain sap is available now though. Missile comes out towards the tiny, and Shadow Shaman is there. Talked about how much damage that this tri-lane could do. They actually go for the missile first, which I find a bit peculiar. Ooh, they find the AA. AA eats through a tree in order to make an escape route, because otherwise it was all blocked. Decent response from AA there, trying to get away, and they do manage to get the vision to try and take down the Bane, but the brain sap comes out to grant the little bit of life steal. Don't get the lost attack off. Tiny throws the tree. The wand, the magic stick ends up saving him. Now AA looks like he's going down. AA gets away by the skin of his teeth, but now Rubik looks like he's going down. Oh, neutral creep killed AA. Rubik got away. Bane just denies himself to the neutral creep as well. They just wanted to be dead.
So many cells, so little time.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Aquaden is not doing badly in mid at all.
That gold is claimed.
Sand King doing an okay job at bot lane. Without any sentries down, he's kind of got a bit of a free lane whenever the sandstorm is up. Ooh, an attempt made onto the OD. Lots of spirits going down. The slows down onto the OD. The spirit jumps across, but there isn't quite enough. Very close. He does have the salve though, so he will be able to heal back up. Salve used on the other side by Arc Warden 2 though.
Your attempt was pathetic.
I was expecting this to be a really strong aggressive lane on the side of RNG, but it doesn't look like they managed to make as much done. They've got the 2 levels in Rocket Barrage, so they have the damage. Plenty of disable, plenty of damage, and it just kind of ends up being quite a passive lane overall. Looks like a gank attempt is being made mid lane using the Sand King. He's going to be able to get the stun off that distance, I think. This is going to be big. He's got an Invis rune. Something's fishy. They know it. Oh no, he just went for a tango. I think he might be still staying here. They don't go for it. There's no sentry down. I think that's what they were suspecting. I think with him playing so defensively at the back, I think they thought there was a sentry down.
Radiant just
Ooh. Sorry about the lead. The lanes are going a tiny bit in Royal Never Give Up's favour, but at the same time I feel like you do not want a situation with like Arc Warden being the top in farm. Liquid goes super deep at top lane. Finally, the damage from Royal No Give Up shows itself. Another attack will take out the Shadow Shaman, but they do have, again, all of this damage from Gyrocopter, so it looks like he'll be able to claim another kill. Rubik gets pincered by the OD. The Astral Imprison keeps him in place. And there's damage from both the OD and the Gyrocopter to finish him off. So 3 kills in a row at top lane for Royal Never Give Up. They do get the return kill on the Shadow Shaman on the side of Liquid, killing him. But yeah, that's what we were talking about with the damage from the Gyrocopter. I don't understand how they're managing to play so passively around him. This OD, it seems his method of dealing with the spark rates is to deliberately walk into them. He keeps doing it. I'm not really sure why. He's going to go into the jungle and take some jungle creeps. Using the Astral Imprison, he should be able to do that and get some mana back. Oh, I'm so tired. So tough. Doing this so many days in a row. Oh, goodness. I have a lot of respect for all of the personalities in Dota. With all of the like super long days. I mean, obviously they get a bit of a break between, like, casters have a break between games, everyone else has a break during games, they rotate the panel and everything, but oof, long days. I think Slacks and his boundless energy is the most impressive. how Mixer's going. Oh.
Why is there no viewers whatsoever? Let's see. Oh look, no viewers whatsoever. How beautiful.
Dire's top tower is about to fall.
I'm really good at watching my own stream. Rank 20 viewer on my own stream on Mixer. I love the rankings on Mixer. It's a really nice touch. So like how loyal a fan you are is kind of put into a number form. It's nice. And like it goes up quicker if you're a subscriber, and the fact that you're subscribing gets you a load. It's
Top tower has some radiant-shaped problems.
a really cool concept. Hey, it's that time again where the tier 1s are traded. A little bit of a defense being put up by the Sand King. But he'll probably leave not long after. His clone from Arc Warden also providing quite a bit of trouble. Is he going to send one in every time it's available?
Dire's top tower has some radiant-shaped problems.
They've left. Are they trying to defend their own tower? The damage is coming out from Tiny, amplified a little bit by the Ancient Apparition, but the attack slow does prevent the rest of the burst combo. So the only thing that Tiny can do here is do the avalanche into toss and then throw the tree, because throwing the tree doesn't not require you to actually make the attack. Normally in the burst combo you'd attack once with the tree and then throw it, or if you have Echo Saber you attack twice with the tree and then throw it. But yeah, not able to do it against the Enchantress. Odie falling behind this Arc Warden. Arc Warden doesn't even have his Midas yet. When he gets his Midas, it's twice as efficient as normal Midas though, so he's... This is an okay timing. This is fine. I mean, if you're at the top net worth when you get Midas, you're only going to get further ahead. It's big. Oh, and attempt number 2 on the Enchantress's life also fails. Such a pesky hero. But it was a 2-on-1 previously and it failed while diving the tower. They do manage to force out down the tower at the end of it, so even though they didn't get the kill on Enchantress, the fact that Enchantress was pushed back is pretty big. But yeah, other than that, it's really, really tough to kill this Enchantress right now. We're losing. Oh, magical pure. I just don't understand why he played so passive, right? There's about to be a Blink Dagger on Tiny, I'll get that prediction. Whoop whoop. So how I'm doing on predictions, I'll check after this game. I'm curious, I was on like 40 before, with like 10 to go before the achievement. Oh no, I think it was 30. So I think you need 40 for the last achievement. Oh, the snakes go down with the dust to give vision on the Sand King. And that's a beautiful solution to dealing with this tower. The Arc Warden double is worth quite a bit. I think it's 100 gold right now. But they do use it to just delay this push on the tower. If the AA Blast had landed, I think that would have actually been a kill on Shadow Shaman as well. And that would have felt really bad. Really nice commitment to deal with the Sand King with the snakes though. I'm gonna take that. That's real cute. It's 5-2, but Liquid are ahead. it's the strength of this Arc Warden, but also like the other two cores are not that far behind. Yeah, 1k gold lead because of the 3 cores versus these 2, but
Invisibility.
they managed to use their best potential to kill the Shadow Shaman. Can't take out the Enchantress, but at least they can deal with him. Spirit slowed down this gyrocopter. On the other end, the OD just uses his auto attacks to kill the AA. AA is pretty squishy and doesn't have any escape, so if he does get caught out of position, very easy to kill. Very easy to kill.
I'll take off.
Dire with the scan.
Ooh.
Dire don't look too scared of Radiant's top tower.
The tower's going down at top lane uncontested, but at the same time, they're taking down mid tower uncontested. Enchantress finally falls.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Is Dire going to let that middle tower
Why are they
fall?
being so scared?
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Scan for Radiant.
Oh. That's not enough, right? Is that enough? That's enough. Oh, that's big.
Radiant's getting friendly with Dire's bottom tower. Wait up.
And Argwarden dies in the middle lane, but yeah, with Shadow Shaman uses his snakes in order to deal with the AA and ends up trading his life because the blast takes him out. That's gotta feel really bad. Now they're not using those snakes in order to push a tower. They've only managed to get 1 tower, and that was the commitment of 4 heroes and the snakes in order to get that one. The toss back towards the team. The nuke damage is ready. They're not wasting anything here. They even used the Bane ulti, but they did steal the Bane ulti. We talked about how easy it would be for that to happen. And yeah, it's really strong. There's nothing they can do about it right now. Bane nearly dies to the burst, just about survives, and then manages to get the Nightmare off, or the Brain Sap off. Dropped down to about 30 HP, so real close. This Ice Vortex is actually providing a ton of help for the Tiny. That's a really good synergy.
Is Dire going to
The additional magic damage you take if you're standing in Ice Vortex when you're hit.
Rolling stone.
Dire don't look too scared of Radiant's top tower.
Ooh. The AA boss comes through in order to land on all of them. They do get a lot of damage dealt to the enemy team, but it looks like some of them may be taken out. They have to scatter to the winds because they're also low. Shadow Demon does take out, or Shadow Shaman does take out again. The Enchantress is taken out by the, them coming in. Tower is held. They're making the AA is getting a lot done.
And with the GPM talent, he must be going for the Aghanim Scepter? No, Go Scepter next. Okay. I would really love to see an Aghanim Scepter. He's mostly been outside of these fights, landing really, really good ultimates. It's commendable that the Outworld Devourer is keeping up in farm with this Arc Warden, but I think the Arc Warden is just going to be too pesky.
Radiant are scanning for enemies.
That should help. Fortune's change.
Yeah, it's farming up really well. He doesn't have a Midas, but he's just making really use of this space to take like a lot of jungle camps.
Dire structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Well, Neworth keeps on swapping between those two.
Is under attack.
Hope I get my prediction.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Look at Dire's bottom tower, Jax.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, Blast comes down on top of the Shadow Shaman. He's taken down at the very beginning of the fight. The debuff also landed on the Enchantress. Lots of damage coming out from the Arc Warden Mandrius to take down the Enchantress as well. Odie comes into the fight using the ultimate in order to take down the Arc Warden. Sand King ulti takes down the OD though, so that's the two top farmers down in this fight. Another kill coming out from the side of Liquid. Lots committed from Royal Never Give Up in order to kill the Arc Warden. They end up overextending into the opponent's jungle. And the turn is there. And they don't buy back on the Arc Warden. A lot of teams, you'd see them immediately buy back on the Arc Warden there and run back to the fight. This guy oh, he didn't have it available, did he? He'd spent it.
Dire's bottom tower, Jax.
But yeah, the Bane brought back into the fight, ran across. By the time the Bane arrived, everyone was dead, and then he died again. Royal Never Give Up have really good buyback discipline. They will keep their buybacks for a really long time during these fights. They'll make really great use of their buybacks whenever they do spend them. They just don't waste them, is all. They spend them rarely, but every time they do spend them, it feels like a good choice. Whereas we've had so many teams in the internationals so far use their buybacks in really peculiar ways. Trying to recover a team fight that's too far gone with a buyback is just a mistake that sets you further behind.
Dire are scanning for enemies. Nothing good happening to Radiant's middle tower. Radiant are scanning for enemies.
Oh, I saw someone. Oh, but they have to teleport in. Arc Warden being focused on under the tower. They teleport 4 heroes in. They wait under the tower for a little while before joining the fray. Arc Warden still hasn't brought back. The Sand King ulti is cancelled. He just wants to get out. So that was a 1-for-1 trade. They defend their tower, a buyback comes out from the Shadow Shaman in order to try and force the issue, and then they still don't have buyback on Arc Warden, but I swear, even if they did, I don't think they would even spend it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Fade Bolt used in order to just try and delay the fight a little bit. The AA Blast lands perfectly onto the Gyrocopter with the disables coming out as well. The Astral Imprison that was there to save the Arc Warden. Arc Warden saved the Gyrocopter. Arc Warden has rejoined the fight, throwing down some spirits, trying to get some kills.
My sprites are with us.
Ooh, those spirits formed a little too late in order to latch onto her. It's not quite the range. Oh, so glad.
Where's my pigeon?
But yeah, this Arc Warden, he's just so patient.
Dire's fortification will work next.
We'll never give up as a team, are really good at that.
Gotcha.
Said this game was heavily in Team Liquid's favour, but they just seem to have been really hasty with it. They weren't playing aggressive with the Gyrocopter in the early game in the laning phase as much as they could have done. They didn't look at kind of force the issue in the lane and have the Gyrocopter's kind of brawling ability really shine.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Myself right.
Dire's top tower has some radiant-shaped problems.
Don't run off.
Ooh, they go really hard, but that's just a double.
See? They can back.
I've got 5 heroes by this bot tier 2.
Radiant's bottom tower doesn't hurry. Dire's top tower has some radiant-shaped
Are they even going to defend it? They're going to send in the double, and the double's going to pop down the evasion bubble. No, that's the real one.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Bane taken out at the beginning of the fight by this Tiny. The burst damage is too strong. The OD nearly gets taken out. Does get affected by the AA blast, so there's nothing that they can do in order to heal him up. Enchantress taking a ton of damage, ends up getting taken down. The chase is there onto the Shadow Shaman. That's actually a dieback because of his play in the previous fight. That didn't lead to anything.
Radiants are scanning for enemies. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Is Dire going to let that middle tower fall?
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Oh, the burst potential. Oh, they're trying to get down the Outworld Devourer before this fight starts. The ulti from the Outworld Devourer is used just to deal with the Tiny. Tiny actually has brought back this time, knowing that the BKB is down. His burst potential is really strong. He's just walking across, though. Did he not have a teleport? He didn't have the teleport to use, so he couldn't immediately make use of that. That's a shame. If he could have gotten to the shrine, that would have been a really big buyback, but it was enough to force them back. And they go for the Roshan, which is why they use the buyback anyway.
Dire are scanning threats.
I was meant to have this. I'll take no trouble.
You listen to me?
Rolling out.
Team Liquid are going to have this one still, I think. Alright, I've been commentating the wrong way around for a little bit. So yeah, it was well enough to give up the really rash buybacks. It's strange. Like the Shadow Shaman and the Bane coming back immediately. Liquid seem pretty good at slowing the pace of the game down and fighting around these like really farm intensive cores. Like last time they did it with the anti-mage and now they're doing it with the Arc Warden. Arc Warden has the Hex, that'll be the double Hex in fights, and it makes these like doubles when they get thrown out really difficult to deal with.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They're rotating into the side of the Dire, but the Dire do have a ward down, so they did scout that movement. This ward here. They know it's coming. The Arc Warden goes down. Did not have buyback available. He's been spending his money every time.
It's not every day you get to see Radiant's middle tower.
With so many towers alive, it's no real surprise. He feels like he can get away with that.
Radiant wants their middle tower to fall. Radiant just fortified. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Skadi Satanic is the item choices from Gyrocopter. He hasn't gone for like the Mjolnir this game.
Under attack.
That would do quite a lot of kind of spread damage onto the supports of Team Liquid, but he opts against it.
Look at Dire's bottom tower, Jax.
It feels like they're not comfortable with this gyro pick. Oh, they actually run into the Gyrocopter. He's the one that breaks the smoke. They come forward with the Sand King and the The Astral Imprisonment is there in order to avoid the Ice Blast. Tiny takes out one of the supports on the back lines, as we've seen that at every fight. Gyrocopter spreading a lot of damage, but it's not quite dealt with some of the cores on the side of Team Liquid. The OD, however, is going to take them down. And now they'll end up with a... Why did they have the Tiny carrying the Aegis of the Immortal? Were they expecting him not to die? He does get the dieback, and he's looking to teleport out and will succeed. That was a really cute play from the Tiny with the teleport out. And getting the dieback on the Bane is relatively damaging, but it's not going to end up doing enough. Rubik on the other side of the map getting a bit of push done. He's coming back now just to slow down the push of RNG. But they may end up just dying if they go too deep here. Buyback comes out from the Sand King in order to try and push them back, and it's nearly the OD going down. Shadow Shaman goes down too. More buybacks are being spent. Oh, but the teleport in from the side. They managed to get the OD with the teleport across to the shrine, and now the Gyrocopter's in trouble too. It looks like he's going to be affected by this blast coming through. Oh, the blast is really off target. They don't have a way of cancelling the Black King bar, but they are going to try and chase down this Enchantress. They don't quite... Oh, they now spot her. They've got the toss available. If they do get vision for just a second, they can toss across. 1 sec. Oh, the Yule Scepter. And that'll be another kill. Really good fight overall from Team Secret to kind of recover the lost fight that they had just a second ago. So why so much spread damage? That's not okay. They have to use that buybacks in order to defend this. Tiny is a pretty steadfast hero to put at the front though. Ooh, that damage from the impetus did so much. Does not end up taking him out, but he will have to back off now. They lose the Arc Warden double. That doesn't feel too bad. The snakes are spent. The tower is nearly dead. About as dead as theirs. Pretty decent.
I'll take your tribute.
The ward comes out from the Royal Navigator upside, but the ward going down does give Team Liquid some information as to where they could be. Arc Warden, look at all of these. They wouldn't be able to go anywhere. He has the -2 Spark Growth cooldown. I think he's going to go for the Spark Growth damage. Makes them deal like 600 each. That's such a scary thing to play into. It's going to be a long game. Hey, I got a load of achievements. That's 40 hours in the last 30 days, but I've only streamed for the last 3 days. Maybe, well, a little bit more. Despite that, that is a whole lot of streaming. Oh god, that is a whole lot of streaming. Seems really like focusing on these 4. I want to focus on the gyrocopter because the gyrocopter is closing in. But they teleported out, so he just kills the wave. Ooh, are they going to be able to sneak a Roshan? The other team is on the other side of the map. They have wards that see this. They're rotating across now. I've got a haste on OD, that's also pretty big. The scan comes out, they know. But they're backing off. Can they use this as bait? That sentry is big. ODL goes down, but no one's dead yet, so the burst potential of it seems to be a little bit wasted. The Black King bars are coming out, so it looks like the retreat is on from Team Liquid until those are done. Now the gyrocopter is finally out of his Black King bar. They kill the Sand King, but everybody else is still alive on the side of Team Liquid. OD is dead, but he has buyback available if he wants to use it. Tiny is dead and does not have buyback, so that's 2 deaths without buyback. The Arc Warden with BKB and low health teleports back to base and stays alive. Only the Rubik left on the map for the side of Liquid. Everyone else retreats. He just runs off to the side. And meanwhile, the RNG side seem to want to retreat to the jungle and heal up. But they seem to be wasting this opportunity. They could have gone for Roshan in that time, I feel. They don't have the best Roshan lineup, but with Shaman alive, if they really want to, they can just spend the wards and track the wards down on the Roshan. It's better than not taking an objective, and having the wards just sat around without the cooldown being used is even worse. Yeah, they've done it. He's thinking of committing the wards, he does. Oh, that is so sad. He finds an arcane rune just after casting the wards down on the Roshan. So this is the double dying. Roshan is going to go down anyway, but I think. He can place a lot of spirits outside the space though. I feel like having the double on the high ground and just play spirit after spirit would have actually been really impactful. What did he go for? He did go for the Wraith damage. Oh, look at that, 660 each time. They do so much. It's like a Dagon hitting you every time you walk into one. Ooh. Damage coming out towards the OD from the double. He does Astral himself and they do lock down this thing, but it may time out. It does time out, that is unfortunate. It's worth 300 money. 300 money.
Pardon me.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower.
Money is a limiting factor for all the buybacks right now. Otherwise, everyone has them. Split push coming out from Tiny of all heroes, but does manage to push into the tower and force the OD back. So the butterfly comes out from Arc Warden, but the Monkey King bar is already there from Gyrocopter.
I'll take your tribute.
It does not apply to the additional flat cannon, I believe. Yeah. Only the main attack will receive attack bonuses such as critical strike. So like that Monkey King bar will not help kill the Arc Warden if it's only the flat hits going for the Arc Warden, or like the targets in the bubble. But the main target that he's attacking, as well as the main target the side gunner is attacking, they will end up pushing it out nicely.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Goodness, these things are real bad. There's so many of them. Tower is defended.
Dire's top tower is
You can only do that so much. More and more of these spirits coming out. They can deal with the targets quite quickly. He's giving himself the attack speed bonus. Gyrocopter tries to counter it by running towards him into the fight. The Aegis is down. They clean up the wards as quickly as they can. Aegis is down, wards are down, and the tower is fine. That's big. Magic or pure damage has now come to Arc Warden. With the Mjolnir pickup. I was expecting the Mjolnir pickup on Gyrocopter, that's why I was thinking that he would end up with higher. Early game he's got his spells, late game he's got his Mjolnir. But he doesn't pick it up. Just to sabotage my prediction. How could he? That's so much fun on the Arc Warden right now. Everyone's buybacks are available, everyone has the money for it. Other than Enchantress. Ooh. The blacking bar used by the double makes it a bit peskier. That was one Spark Wraith hitting him, that's gotta feel bad. They're setting up the Spark Wraiths to provide a little bit of vision around Roshan. If they set up a big Spark Wraith trap over there, it'll be really difficult for them to deal with.
Regeneration.
Ooh, the jump in. Odin's going to drop his ultimate soon, I believe. Tiny's got the blacking bar. It's actually the two supports from Royal Never Give Up that drop first and immediately buy back to re-enter this fight. Rubik drops down next and Rubik buys back. The OD ult is finally dropped. Gyrocopter drops and Gyrocopter is buying back. And it looks like, yeah, Liquid are just disengaging now. With the Gyrocopter dead and the Gyrocopter buyback being spent, they leave. That's 3 buybacks for 1. They're going to wait out the AA's death time to avoid that. So that's a really good patience on the side of Team Liquid. Instead of buying back, instead of forcing the fight, after the buybacks are spent on RNG, they know that it'll take such a long time for the Gyrocopter to get back to the fight that they just disengage. He does have travels, but yeah, with buyback and the travel cost, the travel time, You got like 5 seconds before he's actually back in the fight, and he can only get to a creep wave, maybe about 8 to 10 seconds when you factor that in. Real tough to make use of that buyback when there's no nice teleport spot nearby, even with the travels. So disengage before he even returns to the fight. Tiny gets caught out. Oh, Sand King even. Rubik has the Aeon Disc, but it looks like he's going to go down too. He did buy back previous fight, so he will be dead for a very long time.
Fortune's changed.
I feel like they just have to back off and defend. The Rubik isn't there. They can buy back on the Sand King, and they may have to. The RNG lineup are trying to force the buyback on the Sand King. There it is. No, they're trying to force the tier 3, so even after the buyback on the Sand King, they want to take this fight. The defensive advantages from Liquid are really hefty.
Radiant's top tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower doesn't last long.
The AA Blast lands on 3, and the debuff lands on the OT. This is huge. OG is basically never able to come back into this fight.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
They hold. Tier 3 in mid goes down in the meantime. A little bit of split push being done. So after they started retreating, I think he may have sent his Tempest double across. Or the creeps did it. The tower goes down. So despite the push coming into the base of Team Liquid, more buybacks were spent by Royal Never Give Up to get them into that situation. So it's 3 buybacks spent versus 2. It's the support in the off lane versus the carry and 2 supports. It's a really favourable position for the next like 4 minutes while these buybacks are still not available. Dark Warden double is going to die, but being super pesky.
Generation.
Illusion.
Oh, I'm way too tired to keep this up, I think. Oh no. My god, look at this. And Church is just using her yell and taking it up.
Rolling stone.
Dire are scanning for enemies.
Ooh, is this it?
Radiant are scanning for enemies.
Tiny ends up getting jumped on because they scan the Roach Pit and find him. But he will be able to survive for now. How much was spent on the other side? The Black King bar was spent by the OD and the Gyro... Oh no, not the Gyrocopter. But the Owl Devourer spent the BKB there, so that's like a BKB for a BKB trade. The Wraith Bomb. Now we're going to be able to get this bounty rune.
I was meant to have this.
My sprites are with us.
How long did these work for? 50-second duration, 2-second cooldown. So you can have like 25 out at once. Very quick kill. No buyback available on the Bane. It's still got... Oh, it's only 20 seconds cooldown. So they waited long enough that the cooldown is nearly up. Debuff is on a couple of these heroes. The Astral Imprisonment is going to save her for a little bit, but I think she will end up going down. She does have buyback available. If they do want to defend Roshan, they're going to have to spend it. But they're going straight into the Wraith Pit now. I think there's just going to be Wraith after Wraith cast up on this cliff here too if they want to defend it. Yep. Did Rubik get the heal? Oh, Rubik got Nature's Attendance. That's very good. That's really good. 130 health per second heal.
Dire's top shrine is under attack. Dire's top shrine is fallen.
Gordon double doing some damage to the range strikes. That one doesn't really get any health back, so great play there to do some damage.
Under attack. Dire's bottom shrine is fallen. No more healthy dunks for Dire.
Oh hey, a second viewer. Nice. It's not just myself anymore. Good to see you. Oh, it's gonna be an interesting stream. I think I'm gonna have to take a break. I'm really way too tired to keep this up all the time. This game I think is going to Liquid. They've got some really nice synergy between their team, like the Ice Vortex amplifying the damage that, like all of the magic damage that everyone else is doing is really big. Sand King has gone for the Veil of Discord to increase it further. All of these Spark Wraiths just make it so difficult to walk around in your own base for the side of, well, never give up. Where's the auto camera? Don't do that. There you go. Hello there. Oh, another couple of people. Yeah, this is mostly just going to be me rambling while the game is happening. I'm too tired to do like a serious cast and stream and a play-by-play. The gyrocopter ends up going down to the combo using the Ice Blast. The Ice Blast is really crippling the enemy team right now. And that is just a double dying to all of the disables. The ultimate is popped from the OD, but it isn't enough to turn the tide of this fight. It looks like Al Gordon was trying to get the Shadow Shaman down because he does not have buyback available. They do manage to get that. Oh, he does have buyback available. It's come up again. But it's a big kill to get. So far it's 4 buybacks, and they're just going to disengage. Teleports are happening. They're out. That is a really sad time. They spend 4 buybacks, and the enemy don't even buy back.
I was meant to have this.
So there's something I feel like so many games of the tournament are coming down to buyback discipline. I think I would refer to it as. Those buybacks at the very least did lead to all of the heroes staying alive. But if they bought back and Liquid won the fight anyway, it would have led to a really dangerous situation. And now they know that for 7 minutes, like, Royal Never Give Up needs to be so cautious. Even without this Arc Warden, they have so much kill potential on their lineup. And if they do manage to get anyone, they know that it's not coming back up. So in the 4 versus 5 situation, they can just do a kind of suicidal play to get as even a trade as they can, killing supports, things like that. The only one that still has buyback on the side of RNG is this Enchantress, and nothing was spent by the Radiant. This also increases their gold lead. Look at that. 4 buybacks spent, so 4 deaths. Death money takes off money from Royal Never Give Up. Kill money gives money to Liquid, and buyback money takes even more money away from Royal Give Up. That goes from like 2k in the lead of RNG to 15k in the lead, or 13k in the lead for Liquid in one fight. One fight. This game was looking somewhat even, somewhat back and forth, and then that happens. I think they overcommitted their buybacks. Like, after they take down the Arc Warden, they don't really need too much more. They only need to buy back if the Arc Warden buys back. They could have spent maybe 2. Enough that you can hold the base up. But the push from Team Liquid is not that strong without the Arc Warden anyway. It's mostly just a Tiny then. Tiny being a melee hero is much easier to deal with.
Balance the scale.
Oh my god, you've got the Aghanim Scepter. Oh my god. Wow. Oh, chat in the mainstream is going to be going wild for that. He's going to have it available again soon. Let's see what he gets. Ooh. They're ready. Double damage. That's it. Wow. You can do True Volley as well. You should try True Volley. While he still has that. We'll probably see it. If anything from Tree Volley lands and then he lands a tree throw on top of it, or if they just send the Sand King in, I think that's a really big fight. He's pinging him. He wants to do it. Double damage is lasting so long. Did he get another one? He must have gotten another one.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack. Dire just fortified.
Oh my god, if he gets an arcane rune, he can get rune forge up more often. Tiny is going to be brought down. They're trying to be too cute. I think that's the biggest problem. They're trying to be too cute here. Love calling these plays cute. It's my favourite thing.
Radiants are scanning for enemies.
There's just so little they're able to do.
Illusion.
Oh my god.
Where are you going?
And this is going to be the Agnum's blessing from them. So, do they give it to the Enchantress, or does she already have one? She already has one. Odie's is bad. Shadow Shaman already has one. Bane's isn't that awful. Jericho. Wait, who did they grab it on? OD? Oh, okay. They put it on OD. So that gives him 2 charges of Astral Imprisonment. And it increases the range? Yeah, it increases the range you can cast it.
So many cells.
That's it.
So little time.
Strange choice. But the Bane hasn't really been able to do too much in these fights, so I understand why they didn't want to give it to him.
The wages of fear.
Dire are scanning for enemies.
Gotcha.
It's just the Tempest double. Just go down. He's using Runeforge all the time in order to potentially get some bounty runes. He ended up grabbing an invisibility rune for himself.
Invisibility. Regeneration.
I think the biggest part is if you manage to get the Arcane Rune, you can then give the Arcane Rune to the main Arc Warden and get more Tempest doubles out. If you get the Bounty Rune, Bounty Runes at this stage of the game are worth a ton, so you get more money. Like, it's kind of like a good value for money item. The Aghanim's on Arc Warden. He had so much money left over, he really needed to get something. I think they may have gotten that from Roche actually, but I do like the choice. He's going to do it again. Oh, Invis is so sad. It's going to go to one of the supports.
Invisibility.
Radiant's bottom shrine has fallen.
So many cells.
Ooh, lots of damage being dealt at the very beginning of this fight. Gyrocopter's taken down. The Shadow Shaman's going to get taken down too. Do they have buybacks available? They do. The wards are placed out of range of the tower, so they don't even get any chip damage.
gets the arcane rune. Oh, that's so big.
Jax thinks Radiant's bottom tower is about to fall. He's wrong.
So he'll get the shorter cooldown when he casts this one. It'll be a 24-second cooldown for a 24-second duration. Then that one can use Rune Forge, and that can potentially get him another arcane rune, and gets an invis. The single tree that landed from Tree Volley. He threw one tree and did so much.
Myself right.
I'll be right back. Healing power.
Balance the scale.
Woo! Really wants the bounty rings. Look at all of this. Oh my god, the damage on the gyro. This Tony is doing so much. Still not outdone Monet. Wow. It's like the crit takes off half her health. There's nothing you can do about that. The Echo Saber provides a slow. We're playing this hero around the tree volley now. That was one tree. He's got plenty of region, but that was one tree. 2 buybacks on a cooldown on the side of RNG, and they don't manage to get any trades after spending those buybacks to come back into the game. They're just trying to do enough damage to outpace the region. He's got such a short cooldown on it, he may as well. Bane is gone. True Volley is too good. And I think that's going to be Gyrocopter gone too. No, BKB and the Satanic is used. Manages to stay alive. Indulfimea keeps him alive. The Astral Imprison ends up keeping, what's that, Enchantress alive. Oh no, that was Sand King. The Astral Imprison used on Sand King to prevent a stun coming forward. OD nearly ends up going down to the burst damage. And the Shadow Shaman, sorry, Bane will go down to the burst damage. So that ends up being a really bad trade for the side of Royal Never Give Up. They do manage to keep their cores alive and avoid buybacks being spent on them. But now they have 2 heroes that are in dieback, and 1 hero that doesn't have buyback available. This barracks is forfeit.
Giant's middle barracks has fallen.
and does go down. He had a haste true. Of course he did. 1300. Jarkop has buyback, he's going to have to spend it. Arc Warden has buyback, he doesn't have to spend it. We'll see if he does. They decide to do so in order to get them out of the game. The teleports are all coming in. OD doesn't have the BKB, so he's going to end up getting stunned. He gets brought down. He has buyback available, so he comes back into the game. No in the game has buyback, and it's down to this final fight. They managed to equalize it with buyback on nobody, but whether that'll be enough for them to win, it'll be interesting to see. Whoever wins the ensuing fight wins the game, and there's only a 4k difference. Royal Never Give Up are on a clock though, and the clock is the Ancient's health. The disengage from the side of Liquid. Roshan 45 seconds away. Unfortunately, all of the respawns will come. Though, those wards... Oh no, he's doing it. Oh, he's gonna one-shot Roshan. The chat is gonna go all poggers as well. Rip Roche, yeah. They want to contest. Enchantress lost a good chunk of her health already. They cannot walk into this Roche pit. They absolutely can't even scout it. Only half damage. Shadow Demon is dead. Shadow Shaman is dead with no way of getting back into the game. Ooh, the Astral Imprison is a good save on the side of Royal Never Give Up, but it does end up leading to the Gyrocopter going down, and now the OD going down. Bane goes down, now everybody is dead. They're just going to have to call GG. How can they not call GG already? Do they really think they can defend this? They've got 44 seconds until one of the buybacks is back up. And then they'll have him. And then it'll be Shadow Shaman versus the world. What the hell do they think is going to happen? Yeah, that's GG. Tiny doing too much. They didn't respect the Tiny at all. They were so focused on dealing with the... Arc Warden, but yeah, huge amounts of damage being done by the Tiny as well, so really well played from both of them. Right, yeah, I'm gonna drop the stream for now. I'm way too tired to keep this up all day, so I'm gonna be back for the last couple of games. There's gonna be like, what is it? Where's the Liquidpedia bracket? So today we've got the Infamous versus Team Secret game, and then Evil Geniuses versus Team Liquid. Yeah, Infamous versus Team Secret I'm really looking forward to. I am afraid that Infamous leave the tournament, but if they do manage to knock out Team Secret, that's going to be so hype. It was really stacked in the upper bracket, so it's unfortunate that they get dropped down and face Team Secret, but they have managed to make it all the way to the lower bracket round 3. If they make it next, they're like top 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4... no, top 8. Can't remember. Top 8. No, these drop down to there. Top 6. If they make it to here, they get top 6. Which is big. How much money is that?
$1,185,954. Royal never give up, just get confirmed into 7th, 8th place. So, really good position for them to achieve. Again, 18 team tournament. They get 7th to 8th. So it's like joint 7th, 8th. For 847,110. So that's like, what, 1,600 per player? Really nice. Really nice. 1,600, 160,000 per player. Nearly 170,000 per player. No, it is 170,000 per player. They get a ton of money. It's really good to knock out Liquid. Not Liquid, Newbie. No, Newbie. Wrong one. Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro, I've got to feel bad losing there. But the prize pool distribution is actually really even between 5 to 18. The difference between like 16th and 7th is not that much. 500k compared to 850k, so it's still a lot, but placing top half of the tournament versus placing bottom of the main event, only having that much gap is quite interesting. Really cool game. Really cool set of games. Right, I am now going to give it a little bit of a break, as I said. I'll be watching the next game, but again, I'm too tired to keep the stream up and keep like an active commentary and anything like that in the meantime, and my voice really needs a rest, so I'll have a bit of a break.